speech tonight is going to be on energy development and leasing. I'm going to talk to you about legal issues. In the next little while, I'm going to teach you everything I learned in law school. Okay, what we learned in law school is real property isn't a 20-acre parcel. Real property is actually more like a bundle of sticks. There's many different sticks in that bundle. Some of the sticks I wrote up there. It's the right to use the surface. That comes up with solar leases. It's the air rights. That also comes up with solar leases. It's water rights. That can be affected by solar leases depending on what your water rights are for the property. Mineral and gravel, oil and gas. Those don't directly relate to a solar lease unless you've already signed an oil and gas lease, or you have a gravel lease, or you have some other kind of lease on the property. But there's many, many other sticks that relate to the property, timbers and other ones. So what happens? Well, if you have this bundle of sticks, what can you do with it? Well, the answer is you can sell or lease part of it, okay? And I do a lot of oil and gas leasing presentations, and people don't understand how you can lease something that's under the ground, because, you know, that's kind of theoretical as to whether or not you can lease that. And in actual fact, it's one of the sticks in your bundle, and you can sell or lease it if you choose to. And, you know, if you decide to sell it, that's actually called a severance, okay? And anybody who has a 100-acre parcel knows that if you sold 5 acres of it in the corner off to somebody else to put a house up, that's a severance of 5 acres. That's pretty easy to think about. Well, in the case of if you sell your oil and gas rights, that's a severance as well. Well, in this case, we're not talking about selling your solar rights, but I would not rule out the possibility that they're going to start buying property for solar farms, okay? If they're paying $1,500 an acre is the top price I've seen so far to lease your solar rights, they may start a program where they'll start buying. So again, you can do a severance, and they may have what's called a sale lease back, where they'll sell it to you sell it to them, and then they'll lease it, use it for a while, and they'll expect you to buy it back at the end of the lease if you want it back. You'll have an option. We're not going to get into that. I haven't seen that deal yet, but I would predict that that might be a direction they might be going in the future. So I mentioned that you can sever your oil and gas interest. You can also sever your solar rights. Okay, once you lease out your solar rights to a specified amount of land, you can't use those rights again. You have to allow the leasing company to use the rights during the period of time of the lease. Okay, I'm going to kind of go over a little bit of the history of energy development in Western New York. We have a different tradition than other parts of the country. Anybody who knows the Elmira area, they know that the mineral rights were all sold off about 150 years ago. Maybe 120 years ago, and now third, fourth, fifth generation of people own those rights. Wind has been around just for the last 20, 25 years. Those rights have not been sold. Most of those have been leased. There's been some major wind installation. Anybody who drives Genesee Road from end to end will count more windmills than you see in some other places in this country. There's a lot of wind development that's been going on. That's about 20 years old. I think you heard Mike say solar's new. Solar, he just got a printout of his, you know, things that they want people to watch out for, just hot off the presses. I've seen my first solar leases in the last 3 months. In my practice of 30 years of doing land leasing, these are the first solar leases I've seen, and they've all been in the last 3 months. Now, I've seen a lot of them. I've got a lot of different companies, but it's just happened to come up in the last couple of months. What was holding them all back was that they wanted to do a 15-year exemption period, and there was no new law that supported that. They just passed a new law. It was in the last 6 months, and now all the solar companies were poised to go to market with the tax breaks they can get. They can monetize those tax breaks by selling them to investors. They raise the money from the investors, and that's what they're paying you with, is investors' money who are buying the tax breaks. Basically, it's a monetary thing. It's a finance arrangement, and it's done to make money as financing. So that's all new.